Hi, I'm Joshua M. Evans, and thank you so much for joining me for this 12-week series on a culture of engagement. Now, this isn't just on how you can get your team to re-engage in their work, but it's also, hopefully, going to have some practical tools that allow you to re-engage in the work that you're doing. Because over the past couple years, it's been pretty easy for us to lose sight of why we cared so much in the first place. But nobody started there, right? Nobody started their first day saying, I can't wait to be mediocre. Of course not. It's a gradual process over weeks, months, and years within a role. We lose sight of why we cared so much. And so hopefully over these 12 weeks, I'll be able to provide you with some really useful tools and ideas that's going to allow you to apply them to your work, to your life, and to your team members. So this week, we're going to be talking about what constitutes a great organizational culture. Like, what makes a great organizational culture? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not, free food in the break room. It's not bring your dog to work days. It's not tacos on Tuesdays. It's not free avocado toast. No, that doesn't make a great organizational culture. Those are just bribes. I think it's much deeper than that. The problem is when I ask a question like, what is a good organizational culture? It's subjective. It is. So I'll give you an example. If I was to poll the audience right now and say, okay, what kind of animal would you be if you could be any animal in the entire world? I would probably get dozens of different answers, right? Because that's a subjective question. We'd get parrots and dolphins and dragons, because there's always that weird person that goes with some sort of fantastic creature. We would get so many different answers because it's a subjective question. Now, when I ask what makes an organization's culture great, it's also subjective. I would get just as many answers. If you were to go to your team, right, all the people that work for you, right, all of your employees, and ask them, you would get a huge variable of answers, right? There'd be a giant list of stuff that you'd probably never be able to live up to. But I think it's because we're asking the wrong question. We shouldn't be asking ourselves, what makes a great organizational culture? What we should be asking ourselves is, how can we make our current culture better? Because when we ask that sort of a question, it allows us to choose action over observance. It allows us to take action instead of just listing things out. And therein lies one of the biggest things I think you can do as an individual, because these are subjective questions. The difference between a great organizational culture and a mediocre or even a terrible organizational culture is effort. That's the difference between the two. You can have any organization right here, but for them to be better, they have to be making an effort to be better. And therein lies your thing. So I'm going to challenge you today. Your challenge for this week is I want you to do one thing this week to try and improve your organizational culture. Even if you already have the greatest culture in the world, I want you to try one thing that positively impacts the people that you work with. Go out and try that, and I'll see you next week for part 2. I look forward to it. Have a great day. Stay awesome.